Come in.
Come in.
My mom is Black and Indigenous. My dad is American.
Jamaican Nigerian.
I'm just Nigerian. Born and raised in Zimbabwe. Born in Harare, but I grew up in Bulawayo. And in Bulawayo, we call it Skies. So that's the nickname of the place I grew up in.
My dad is from Trinidad and Tobago. My mom is from England. I would be second generation Canadian on her side.
I'm of Jamaican descent.
Jamaican and Trinidadian.
Haitian and Jamaican.
Jamaican, Canadian.
Ethiopian.
Nigerian.
Dang, that's heavy. Like, I feel it's so heavy being a Black creative in general when you are at the forefront of the culture, because you just naturally present all that came before you. And growing up in Canada is crazy because we have like every archetype of person here. So a lot of times you're in spaces where you're not necessarily amongst those from the culture, if you catch what I'm saying. So you're constantly having to introduce it.
I don't know. I feel like being a Black creator, especially in like contemporary dance where it's often just white spaces, it's like, it's different. It's harder. I think that you have to truly like make your own space and be your own person, because I feel a lot of the times people will always look at you differently. They hold you to higher standards or different standards. And I think that you really have to fight for what you want. So like, I don't know, one word would be like powerful, soulful, you know, like you got to do it. You got to get in the paint in like not a physical, violent way, but like in a way of like, you got to express who you are, and you've got to be like unapologetically yourself as a Black creator, because I feel like there's so many times when you're like, you know, pushed to the side or looked at differently, or like you have to dance to Kendrick or you have to dance to Drake to be like, and it's like, no, I don't want to. I can dance to who I want to dance to and express how I want to express. Like, Black creators are not only hip hop dancers or dancers of one genre.
Because of my diverse backgrounds, not just being Jamaican, I also have a background in ballroom. I love the fact that I can share my story and inspire a lot of other dancers upcoming who don't see themselves in the industry. So me just being taking up space and being myself and being my whole authentic self, it's gonna give the next dancer who doesn't see themselves in the industry a chance to see themselves and be inspired.
To me, it means paving the way for the newer generation and showing young Black adults and kids that you can dance and make it a career and do whatever your heart desires, and don't let anybody stop you from what you're doing.
I think as a Black creator, the most important thing we do focus on is history, because having context beyond our movement, but also realizing why we dance or what's the importance of our dance. I think to me, that's the biggest one that not a lot of people put light into, but the more we uncover, the more we hold and the more weight we carry. So I think being a Black creator means finding balance of history and its connection to us as people.
To me, it means honestly like joy, especially in the position that I'm in right now. Like, just be able to help contribute to the community in some sort of way, is not just as like a dancer, but also like as, I guess, a leader. It's very fulfilling.
Being a part of the Black community, we have such a vast diaspora, and all the different styles you can learn, kind of like what you said, like the sauce, but like all the different things you can learn, I have found really applicable to like kind of everything I've been able to do in my life, in my career. And I think that that's so cool, because maybe it doesn't always feel that way. So just getting to be a part of that community, getting to dip in and out of different styles and add it to like maybe styles that people wouldn't normally think they're a part of, but they always kind of sneak their way into. So yeah, I think I'm just very proud of that.
I guess it means just really keeping the sauce and the flavor and everything. You know, it's got to taste good. It's got to feel good. So I want to keep the spice in everything we do. You know, keep the culture, keep the roots, keep the grooves alive.
Without knowing or honoring, then you're just taking. And I think the most important thing is having that context allows you to understand the power of the movement. Movement carries so much, and the voices of the people are so important that if you miss those steps, then you're just dancing from your own perspective and not from a perspective that you have to carry forward. So I think by understanding and maintaining and speaking allows us to carry those voices forward in order for this collaboration to happen. So it's not just one thing, but it allows it for it to continue.
I feel like if you're going to take from a culture, profit from a culture, it should always be acknowledged. It's laid out the foundation to all of the things we're inspired by and what we're seeing today on our televisions, on our screens, in movies, in dance, culture, fashion. Would you want your art to be taken and you not acknowledged? Ask yourself that question when you're not acknowledging the roots of other dance styles.
I think dance as a whole stems from like a lifestyle. A lot of the times, the best way to explain a dance to people that don't necessarily understand why you're doing it is to explain the lifestyle, to explain why certain people were even dancing like this. That's why I'm asking you to do certain things. So like even like dance aside, explaining like the roots of it is just so like they cannot understand why they're doing certain things.
I think because people don't. They love the culture, but when it comes to actually standing up for like racial equality and racial rights, they don't. So I think it's super important, especially in a dance setting. If you want to dance to drink and he's saying N-word this, N-word that, do you know where that comes from? Do you know what they've had to go through? Like, you're dancing to certain songs and it's like you need to allow yourself that grace and that humility to like learn where it's coming from and the actual like meaning and message behind the song. Just like you want us to understand the meaning and message behind your movement. Well, get on a computer, babe. Yeah.
It's just very important to understand where movement comes from in certain styles. Why are we moving this way? Why do we feel this way when we're doing this movement? Why is this move very similar to this move? Is just respectful to the art itself.
I think it's just a great reminder of how far you can go and how far you have come. It's like looking at the present and the future at the same time, to be able to have that reminder, like, yes, I can keep pushing when I'm having those hard times, or, you know, maybe I don't feel like I'm getting picked because of my skin color, or because I wear braids, or because my hair is an afro. And, you know, you have people like Amanda Mae out there showing you like, hey, it is possible if you are Black and if you do wear braids and if you do have an afro. So I find that's something really important to continue to push out there today.
Being able to share a brothership or like a sisterhood kind of connection with many other Black individuals. So for example, like Tommy Steez. If you guys don't know Tommy Steez in Toronto, I'll pray for you tonight. But yeah, Tommy Steez was a really important big brother figure for me. He helped teach me a lot of just lessons of life. And I think having other role models or people of that color around you in the culture of which it is very important, because there's too many life lessons and you need to be able to soak those in versus being taught them via lecture or something like that, which is, it can be helpful, but it's not the same.
Coming into the dance industry, you have to have a thick skin because you're auditioning, you're being judged, you're being looked at, dissected in many, many ways. I want to say one of the things I admire about ballroom is when you go into ballroom, there's judges, there's a judge panel. When you go to a ball, you're being critiqued, but also uplifted. And I would say that ballroom really gave me like a thick skin as far as like parallels in the dance industry and ballroom. So when you're in the dance industry, you're gonna have to audition, you're gonna have to compete for a spot at times. And I feel like ballroom, in that same aspect, you have to battle, you have to perform for judges, you have to work on your craft. So I feel like there's transferable skills from ballroom to the dance industry as vice versa.
I feel like there's a lot of love in the Black community. It's helped my growth in the sense that a lot of people that I've worked with and a lot of people that are close to me, they're like, but they're Black, but the resilience that comes from them and the way they push themselves is very like motivating, in the sense that when I see them like strive to like put themselves out there and put like the community on the map, it really like inspires me to like do more.
It took me a while to actually like dance and be around other like Black artists, especially in contemporary dance. Like there's not a lot, and I think that even like, I'm gonna say Christina, like having the support of you is like super, like you're super inspiring. And it's like, you're very understanding, you're very supportive, and I feel like often like it's hard when other people don't cheer for you, but I feel like you cheer for all of us, and I think that like you know, you support us. Hugs. It's when you don't kind of know where you kind of fit in, especially with dance and certain styles. I think that like it's super important to have people that do believe in you and like have your back.
At least for me, it makes me more confident. I think that has been one of the biggest confidence boosters in my career, but also just in my life, like just as a person, getting to be around people that are Black, but even just people who get it, you know, people who are around the culture and understand it. It fuels me.
I would say in terms of the Black creator community, I would speak solely about our company, Holla Jazz, which is run by a Black director, Natasha Powell. And I think her care and her understanding of us as for our needs, her understanding of our needs, really inspires you as a creative, because then you also start to see how you can show up for others. And I think her just being a Black woman, almost reminiscent of my mom or my grandma, and her care for me, it just inspires me to see it, because it reminds me of home.
As someone who grew up primarily in the bush, coming to the city, like coming downtown and actually being around people that knew what they were doing and knew the history, knew the roots, knew the culture, and getting to actually soak that up from the peers and from the people around us is what definitely helped me understand the movement better. Like you say, how to stand, how to do this, and why we do that, and where it comes from, and the meaning behind it, because sometimes the meaning gets skewed to those that don't understand.
I think Toronto's dance community is really diverse, and you can see so many different styles, and I think even just that has helped my growth personally.
Edgy?
Unapologetic.
Happiness. Yeah.
Breath.
I'm gonna say passion.
This word isn't two, but spirit moves, because that's the one thing that inspires me to move is my spirit.
I think awareness. If it's either digging into foundation, I use a lot of history in my classes. If you take it, you need a lot of awareness just over your body, what you can offer, skill sets. It's like I love to get in the nitty gritty of what is possible with the body. So I think you need a lot of awareness.
How about let's say one word for the other one?
Ooh! I'm gonna say powerful.
I'm gonna say like season. There's lots of seasoning when you move.
I'll say flow.
Like the first word that came to my mind was grounded.
Hot but sad. Slay. Baddies can be sad. Like you can be like hot, but you know what? You're in your feels.
Yes. Like I'm always confirming with everybody. Like, yo, you get that? Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah.
There's a TikTok I watched where there's this creator, and he's always like, he's giving two comparisons, and he's always like, if you're trying to figure out, do this. So I've been saying that every class. I'm like, don't do it like this, do this.
Sometimes I say, does that make sense? Any questions? Any answers?
Well, yes.
One more again, like another one.
Vibes.
Some variation of like, yes.
Tommy Steve, Poppin' Pete, Sugar Pop, Bob and Andre, Michael Jackson, my mom and my dad.
I think for maybe just growing up, I'm gonna go back to the soccer roots, like Ronaldinho. It's just the creativity he played with, the joy he played with. It showed me that like hard work can be fun.
Alvin Ailey, Isadora Duncan, Aaliyah, Tupac, Keisha Cole, Missy Elliott. I love Martin Luther King, I think. Yeah. Yeah. That's the big homie.
Percy is a great example of like, if you want to like learn other people's crafts and allow it influence you, just see how he approached. That's why I'm kind of using him again in dance, not in life. No, hell no.
There's Afro Beast, there's Incredible Ziggy, there's Dance God Lord, there's Ambrose, there's Yemi, there's a lot of Nigerian dancers that I've watched that like inspire me every single day. Initially, Scott was one of the people I used to look up to. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I used to watch his videos like growing up, and now he's my boss. Shout out Scott.
It depends on where I lived. Growing up back home, being my father, for sure. My father was my biggest inspiration. He too was such a big figure in the country I grew up in, and people just looked up to him, and he was just such a open individual who just had so many hobbies, and that's why I think I have so many hobbies as a person. And here in Toronto, definitely Natasha Powell, because she impacted just the way I see things, and she showed me that care is just as important as discipline and working hard, which something I didn't know as a young kid. I was just grind mode, and then she was like, "Nah, you can chill, you can sit for 5." And I was like, whoa, I've never had someone say you can sit for 5. So that inspired me.
There's a dancer, choreographer by the name of Jante. He was in Beyonce's Freakum Dress video. If you do not know that song and you're dancing to Beyonce, you got to figure it out, okay? So he was in the video, and he was like, it was her and two dancers, and they were like very flamboyant. They were giving Butch Queen. I was a shocker in the time that it came out, because a lot of the times with female artists, there would be like hyper masculine men behind them, shirts off or whatever. So this would be the first time I used to see like two Butch Queens dancing behind Beyonce. I saw myself on screen, so I was like, okay, this is everything. So I would say he was a big inspiration for me.
Of course, Jonah Abrams, hands down, you know, love her. She's an OG queen, and her heart is amazing. Internationally, I would definitely say, of course, Misty Copeland. You know, I think she paved the way for a lot of Black ballerinas, a lot of Black dancers, a lot of Black female dancers in general, and her career was so long. So that's definitely someone I used to look up to as a kid and still look up to till this day.
Alton Mason, he's like a model, but he's also a singer, but he's also a dancer. Oh my God, he's beautiful. He's such a like multifaceted artist. He like sings, he models. He's also an actor, he's a dancer, and he does all those things like very successfully. I want to shout out Amanda Mae. She's an extremely, talented artist who I find inspiring. Caroline Tordy, who I think is incredible. Cora Cazares, just people who I feel like have really done a lot for the Toronto dance community.
I think just Toronto in general. A lot of the elders from Toronto taught me a lot about the authenticity of street dance and how to approach it in a healthy manner. And I think that was really impactful, where I know a lot of individuals around the world don't necessarily get that, especially in our generation.
House dance shaped my spirit because it taught me about the club and the importance of music, and jazz dance shaped my spirit because it taught me the importance of me and how I show up within the dance. So I think those two styles really helped me become one. So even though jazz and house are very different in terms of music and cultural take, it really aligned my one, which was the most important thing. So house and jazz.
Dance hall has always been like a big thing in my life. Just from the music and from the dance and the culture, it's just deeply rooted in me. I was able to explore more into dance, but I feel like that's kind of in my style still.
I'll say Afro style. We're very coordinated, and we're very love driven. It's always all love, it's always all niceness. Everybody wants to be happy, so really shaped my thinking as a dancer.
I did ballet growing up since I was 5 years old. I feel like that's why I still dance a bit the way that I do, which is like a lot of fluid movements, big range of motion. That's kind of where I learned everything before I came into this scene.
Jazz has been a huge inspiration to me. Hip hop and contemporary was also a big, I think, turning point, because I started so late in life. For contemporary, it felt like an amalgamation of like a bunch of different things that I could kind of like merge together. But yeah, those three styles were, I think, really pivotal in my growth.
I'm gonna say my AIM folks, Artists in Motion. I think that community was really what made me open my eyes into dance. And we were always a multidisciplinary dance company. I didn't really know what that word meant coming into the city. And then when I came here, I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many more things that I could do. There's so many more stories to tell. There's so many more genres and styles. And it's just like absolutely pivotal to my growth as a dancer and as an artist.
Afro space. I don't think that like I do just Afro stuff. I think I kind of go into different realms of like dance, but I always try and tell my class or everybody I talk to that I have like an Afro hat on. It's not all the time I do Afro choreo. I'm not the best person to talk to in terms of what falls under that Afro hat. I think they're great. Issy, Kwasi, Percy, I think they're great. Zara, they're great people to like talk to, but to me, in terms of what I've been exposed to as of right now,
I started off as a hip hop dancer, but I would say ballroom and voguing has shaped my artistry. So it's giving me layers. They correlate. I feel like I'm inspired by voguing, ballroom, and I'm also inspired by commercial dance, hip hop. At the same time, I'm not one dimensional. I feel like they both lend to one another, and I'm inspired by both.
I teach a few, but I'm gonna go with the hip hop. Like, it's just fun. Like, I feel like I can just act a fool and it's totally justifiable. Like, I could just have a good time. So I think that it satisfies the inner child in me. It's just like to just have a good time and not worry about nothing.
The funk. The funk, the funk, the funk. I love the music. I love the culture. I love the people. I love doing what we do. There's so many environments, from like a soul train to a dance competition, a battle, a cypher. Like, there's just so much to do, so many people to interact with, and it's all very wholesome and raw, and I love that.
Afro-wise, is welcome to all. It is to a point where like I feel like it has been abused a bit, but I do think that like when it comes to Afro, if you ever enter an Afro space, how it looks is not how it is when you're inside the space. So I think that's one thing that's like I really admire about it.
The one thing I do love is the way how people see what I teach. And I think that's the most important because it opens their eyes to new perspectives. And I like to bring in new perspectives, but also remind them that dance is a challenge for a reason. Like, it was never made to just be something you pick up. It was made to be something you have to understand over time, and something that matures in your body. You don't just become, you have to work to becoming. And by working to becoming is you building habits that make you better, and understand that work makes you better.
I would say with jazz funk, I've always just been such an admirer of how easy it looks, but how hard it actually is. Especially when you start getting into those like more advanced classes, your Brian Friedman's, like, you know, all of that stuff, your Miguel Zarate's, like, it's so hard to do actually in real life, but those people make it look so easy, and that's what I think has drawn me to it. I've always just been so curious, like, how can I make it look effortless and easy, but also have that energy that's fun and feels good, but, you know, still feels like you're training. So like, that's the thing that I think I'm still discovering and figuring out, but I think that's my favorite part about it.
I like teaching heels because it correlates to the voguing. So when I'm voguing, the style of vogue I do is vogue femme, and it's inspired by femininity and feminine lines. So I like the fact that I can borrow from Vogue and apply it to non-Vogue music and create heels choreography. It could challenge people to, one, not move in a commercial way, because like voguing is very technical, and a lot of my movement is inspired by Vogue technique. With voguing, I like the fact that when I'm teaching Vogue, it brings out the quietest person out of their shell. I've had people come take my beginner Vogue class before, and they've told me like, oh, when I take your class, I feel inspired and I want to smile. Like, I feel good doing voguing. And I like the fact that like when I'm teaching Vogue, it's letting people tap into their confidence and unleash it.
With beginner choreography, I just think it's really fun. I think obviously there's a focus on like foundations, but you can change it up so many ways because it's choreography. Like one day you can have more of a hip hop influence, one day you can have a bit more of Afro influence. So I think I can just like have fun with it and experiment with like different styles that I've done while keeping like the same foundational aspect of it.
It's not just a specific genre, you know, a heel, beginner heels, I teach that. It's just a shoe, so you could do anything in a heel, right? It's very versatile. You could pop if you really want to. You could lock, you do anything. So I think that's my favorite thing about it, and I don't really call it a genre because you can apply it to everything.
Afro, it's just teaching people how to be happy, to be honest, because like it's a whole different style. So it's always nice like taking people back to where I'm from, or taking people to like the styles that I've learned growing up and like watching them like do the genre and the style is really nice.
I think freedom of movement, being able to express who you are and what you want to say without kind of any limitations or boundaries per se. Like you're really allowed to express what you're feeling and like lead with the soul rather than just kind of stick to a rigid plan.
Early is on time is late.
Discipline.
think it's taught me a lot of patience, not to rush things. There's so much happening in life. The world just keeps going, but it like has taught me just to be grounded and just be patient and understanding that it's okay that things are not happening right now, but eventually as time goes on, it will.
Taking control of your mentality, I feel like, is important in dance and outside of dance. And just how to like regulate your self-talk, being more confident, because it can be like the number one thing that like hinders your growth or helps you flourish. I don't know. But it's the same thing outside of dance as well. And I think I noticed it more in dance. And so, yeah.
How to prepare, be prepared, and do your best. If there's one thing a teacher has to do is prepare. We got to prepare a combo. We gotta take care of the people in the space. So it's really taught me how to, one, guide, lead, and really prepare and just be a leader.
There's so much that dance and this industry does to keep you on your toes and to make you feel prepared, and then you're like prepared, and then you're like, actually you didn't do all of these things, but you didn't do them because I didn't tell you you needed to do them, so now I'm telling you need to do them as you're doing them. And it's like I think like if 15-20-year-old me would have like panicked at some of the things that I just brush off now, because it just keeps you on your toes, and I've been able to like calm like the internals, and the art has just put me in experiences of like just fire all around me. You know that picture of like the dog when it's like everything's fine? Like that's how I feel in this industry. Like, and I'm chilling, like, oh, we're on fire, cool. But like I think how to stay calm in that, and then how to find an answer in the madness when you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I don't know what's going on, I don't know where this paycheck's coming from, I don't know where this step is coming from, I don't know where that job, that class, that I don't know where anything's coming from.
But you figure it out.
But we figure it out.
Yeah.
I would not be here if it wasn't for dance at this point of success in my life, at this point of just becoming a man. I don't think, like, dance has taught me so much, and the beautiful people that I've been able to encounter have just helped me pave that way. So I'm very grateful for all the people who came before me, helped me get to where I am. But yeah, without dance, I really don't know what I'd be doing. I know it's kind of cliche, I know a lot of people say that, but yeah, for real.
I think it's taught me it's okay to be still, and just because sometimes things aren't happening in the dance realm, it doesn't mean things are not happening in your life.
It's not the only thing you need to rely on when you get sad. Okay, people, let's talk about it. We can't run to dance for everything, and I think dance has taught me that when you do go to it, and if you go to it for the right reasons, you understand the power of it. And I think people forget the power of dance because the dopamine sometimes overcomes the power, and people think, oh yeah, just picking up things is what I need. But realistically, no, you need to understand why to even just snap, why to even just tap. And I think that the little things make it so much more powerful. So remember, it's not about just catching things, it's about understanding.
Respect is earned a bit, just because I think, and this is like to me as well, saying dance and then saying like how that whole like, I had to tell my parents I want to be a dancer, and like they didn't like respect me that I kind of want to be a dancer type of vibe. It's like I'm very easy, or even we as dancers are very easy to like take offense to that. But I think even in dance space, even though you're dope as hell and you trained in LA for 20 years, when you still come here, you still kind of have to like do your part to earn that respect. So I guess it's the same thing outside in every space. And what dance has taught me is like, I could be in Nigeria for 18 years of my life, but like I still have to enter the space and show to people why I deserve, or like why I should be, let's say, teaching something, or why I should, like, you kind of need to earn that respect. So I feel like entering this space and having to like earn that respect in the dance world just also show me that like it's not the end of the world if guys outside dance don't appreciate dance just because they don't know about it, they don't know how hard it is, and it's like it's just something that like you kind of have to earn their respect by how much work you put in as well.
One, ownership ownership of yourself, knowing how you show up in a space. 2, really diving deep into history. You don't need to learn a style to learn the history. I think learning the history will allow context to a lot of why things happen the way, or why things are the way they are. So I think knowing your history and also showing up as your full self are the 2 most important things.
Young black dancers, I think you need to reflect upon the traditions. Find someone who's been doing that craft or that dance 20 to 30 years longer than you have. They have tons of valuable information. Buddy, get close to them, learn from them. If you're a big brother, big sister, get close, soak in the source, and then learn how to project yourself into the future. Yeah, because only you are gonna know how to do that. But with their information, it's gonna be really helpful and make the generational jump so much easier. So props to you if that's what you're on the pathway of doing. If not, get in line, yo. Come on. Yeah.
Be unapologetically yourself. Block the haters out. Honestly, I think that like you're gonna hear a lot of no's, but you keep going because you'll eventually get a yes. Be proud of who you are, and like your color of your skin doesn't deteriorate or like justify how good or bad you are as an artist.
I'm gonna steal something from an interview Issa Rae had. A lot of people want to chase the clout and they want to network upwards. They see somebody with 10K followers and then they want to gravitate towards them and they want to take their class and be in their class video or fly them out and work with them. And really and truly, as a black dancer coming up, I really feel like you should network to the people beside you. So like your peers, because if you're networking out to people out there and you're not giving back and building your community, it's gonna suffer. There's enough wealth and joy and things to share amongst all of us that we shouldn't have to network out. We can network amongst each other and really build upon our own communities.
Start now, do it, don't hesitate. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it, because you can.
Yeah, keep pushing. Don't be overwhelmed by trying to like get famous or whatever it is. Just keep doing your thing and be happy, to be honest.
I think it goes back to just being patient and knowing that it's okay. Like, things will be hard. It's gonna be very loud around you, and like just knowing who you are and who you are as a person and continuing to be authentically yourself. In any space that you walk into, the opportunities will come.
Stick with it. No matter what is going on, no matter what anybody says, stick with it. Trust that.
Know what it is you bring to the table and know what it is that you do well. Like, know it well. In a sea of like everyone, you know, there's all this noise and social media and like, you know, who's the most poppin' and whatever. Like, just know what you do well and have that be like your secret weapon, you know?
I think if you're consistent with it and you keep the love of dance, like you'll reach wherever it is that you want to go. So don't focus too much on like, it's good to have goals, but don't be like, I need to reach this, I need to reach that. Like, just stick with it and you'll eventually get there.
Your path will look, or there's a chance that it looks different. Only you know what's happening behind the scenes. If it is faster, great for you. Don't allow the noise slow you down. If it is slower, that's unfortunate, I can't lie. But like, no. But like, the day it clicks, I promise you, like, you'll fly. So just yeah.